back.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back.
pdExes.
Yes. Whew. Man, podcasting is hard.
It's like running a marathon.
It is. Well, and also the consistency, because so we start filming today and our camera is all fucked up and I don't know why. And it's all super dark. And here I am messing with the settings and I can't figure it out.
Changing shit. Yeah, trying shit.
And I'm like also having a mini panic attack because I'm like, oh my God, all my shit's broke. And then come to find out my lens wasn't snapped on all the way.
Yes.
So that's cool.
Well, so, I'm no help.
She's no help. She's drinking her Baja Blast.
Well,
that's all.
We'll get you that serotonin, millennials.
Yeah, thanks, BB. And so then I click the lens back on and all the settings are messed up.
Well, I was starting to sweat a little bit sitting on the couch. I was just trying to give you space because I am not helpful. I am a voice and that is all.
I think there's a wanting consistency, but like also who cares?
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, the light's got to be the same.
Do you care that much?
Yeah. Do you care? I don't know.
I guess only if you're watching the live stream. If you're watching the live stream, then you might see little differences here and there.
Yeah.
But our voices sound the same.
Good job. You are very observant, and I don't care.
Yeah. What if we did just play little I Spy games?
Yeah.
Every week something's different.
Maybe. Well, yeah. And at the same time, I think, what if we do 50 episodes and it's like, oh, pink triangles, blue drum light. And then we want to change it. We're like, no, people want the pink.
It's got to be the same.
It's got to be the pink and the blue. Next week, it's going to be different. It's going to
Don't promise this. Don't promise things.
It's going to be teal.
Oh, instead of pink, it's going to be magenta.
Do you know
what? Blue, it's going to be aqua.
Do you know what I read is that magenta isn't a real color? Have you heard of this?
No.
So apparently magenta, which is this, that magenta
would be,
is technically a green color, but our bodies perceive it as this. For you listening, I'm trying to point.
Okay, but what's the optical
backwards.
illusion? What's the optical illusion of like, is the dress white and gold or blue and black?
Oh, yeah.
Or whatever, right?
So this is the same thing. Your brain interprets things however it wants. So, I mean, yes, that's a red and that's a blue, but in your head, your brain is deciphering all the input signals. So what you see isn't necessarily what I see, isn't necessarily what a dog sees. And it all depends on your rods and cones and all the internal eyeball stuff.
Well, I've always been curious if people with different eye color, like if you see the same color, like this, if you see the same as the same.
I think it's the same. No, I think it's the same. But I think people have different genetics that might help.
Like all people with blue eyes perceive this as the same color. All people with brown eyes perceive this as a different color.
I think it's the same.
You don't know.
Well, and that nobody knows. I mean, because basically your eyeballs and your eyes actually flip the image. Do you know that? Yeah. This is all what I've learned throughout my life. So this could all be wrong, but your eyes see the image and it flips it when it gets processed like into the back of your eye, and it goes backwards on the back of your eye, and your brain turns it upright.
That seems very difficult.
Yeah, it's weird. And do you know your eyes have their own immune system? I know a lot about eyes because I have arthritis and it spread into my eye, and it's called iritis.
Yes.
Which is the dumbest, fucking laziest goddamn name I've ever heard in my life. And every time I tell people I have iritis, they laugh and I go, no, it's real.
Thanks for that.
But basically, my immune system attacks itself. So it basically is like eating the front of its eye. So it comes up and it goes, hey, we got to get rid of this front of your eyeball. And they go, nuh-uh, it's supposed to be here. They go, well, we have a paperwork that says we got to get rid of this eye. So we're going to start getting rid of it. And it goes, well, you're going to have to fight me for it. And that's what's going on in my eyeball.
When I worked at a fine dining restaurant, there was a older couple I waited on like every Friday. They came in, called them pseudo mom and dad, and they were great. They were very reliable, as I imagine parents should be. And she was a doctor, or she worked in a really lovely doctor's office, and she talked about how and she would go like this is the cone of death.
Oh.
So she said anything that would happen in your eyes, nose, and mouth will kill you. We had a super long discussion because she did a lot of Botox and a lot of fillers, and she didn't, but at the office she worked at also specialized in a lot of that. We would talk a lot about eyelash extensions, and I kind of went through this whole process for a super long time about whether I should get it or not, and it's a really big decision. And
is it permanent?
I mean, semi-permanent, yeah. Eyelash extensions. So when you see girls, like I have glue extensions right now, the strip lashes. So when people compliment me, I always say, hey, like, glue these on my face every day because these are not God-given lashes by any means. And I had eyelash extensions for like 3 years. It was lovely because I was at the gym all the time. I was training 6 days a week. So being able to wake up first thing in the morning, go to the gym and not feel like a wet rat.
Right.
Super lovely. Really liked having kind of a face put together or having a face put, somewhat together. And she made me do all of my research. She made me ask the questions. She made me ask questions because these are the things you don't think about.
Right.
If they put if you use a glue or some kind of adhesive you're allergic to, your eyes swell shut.
Yep.
And then if you go to an emergency room, they don't have the tools or the knowledge to remove that shit from your face. So then you have to go back to the person who put them on or someone different because you basically have to have them kind of soaked off. So that glue is eaten away and then the lashes come off.
So they're basically gluing lashes on for how long?
On the natural lash until it grows out.
Like how long is that?
I mean, when I got my lashes done, I would go every 3 weeks.
Oh, shit. That's not that bad.
Some people go 2 weeks, but if you get a gap in your lash, like it's a lot. But here's the thing. If you are like a dirty girl and you're just gross and you don't take if you are that bitch out there and you're wondering whether or not you should get eyelash extensions and you are not like overly clean and you don't already have like a 5 to 10 step routine, skincare routine, I'm gonna say lashes are a no for you. Yeah. You're supposed to wash your eyelash extensions every day. You're supposed to take kind of like a makeup brush, a special soap and foam them and then dry them and then use it's a long process. Dang. And in the long run actually is a little more work than not having extensions. I just glue them on every day. We touched on it a little in the last couple episodes about watching Drag Race, and I truly learned how to like master the strip lash application. Right. And it's great because I can go like this and I can rub my face in my sheets.
Do you know that's the best feeling in the whole world?
Oh, yeah.
Rubbing your eyes feels so good. And then like 10 seconds in, you're like, yeah, this is the best decision I've ever made in my life. And then once you stop, you're like, fuck. Like, damn it. Why did I do that? It's kind of like anything. It's like eating at a buffet. You're just like, I love this idea. Mm-hmm. And then afterwards, you're like, fuck, why?
Yeah, you need that little bit of digestion.
Yeah. And so that's like scratching your eyeballs. I think it's weird how much work women have to go through for their eyes and their face.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And like, we have created this beauty standard. And who made it? Magazines, fashion industry.
Yep.
They want you to have a big eyeball and they want you to have like nice skin. And
the thing is that what people not everyone realizes is trends consistently change.
Yeah.
I had a woman from a beauty counter come in and say that she had a girl request the 90s, like super thin brow.
Oh, yeah.
Bitch, no. If that is you, that's a no. In 20 years from now, you're going to really wish you didn't do that to your eyebrows because they're never going to grow back the same.
Because when you pluck them, that fucks them up, right?
The same, right.
Yeah, that was
and so they want like that. Is it like the Drew Barrymore, like the just girl?
Yeah. Well, so that was a big thing in like what, the 90s, yes. 2000s.
So 90s trends are coming back.
Super thin eyebrow. And like, don't be plucking off your goddamn eyebrow. That's your eyebrow. Do you know why you have an eyebrow? It's for debris. To not go into your eye. And so if you have a tiny ass line, bitch, you're getting a lot of debris in your eye.
Fashion.
Yeah.
But fashion is important.
And then like also, I don't know, like why do we care? Here's the thing with fashion industries and stuff. There's always this thing with like, plus size models. Mm-hmm. I used to do photo retouching for dress companies in New York and stuff. And I don't mind retouching, but I think it can go a little far.
Oh, of course.
My standpoint is, okay, when you take a video of somebody, it's really hard to pinpoint out defects because so much is moving.
Right.
Right? In a photo, it's flat. And so you can your brain just picks out any weird imperfection. So I agree. Obviously, like I made money doing retouching, nothing crazy,
Right.
but like, cleaning up
Blemishes,
skin.
right, of course.
Also,
Very minor things.
when they do photo shoots, it's not like, hey, Jessica, stand here and let's take 4 hours to take this one shot. Like they are churning through these outfits and shoes and dresses. I mean, like they might have like 60 like looks for this one photo shoot. And so they don't have a lot of time to sit there and make every shot perfect. They'll do like a bunch of shots. And then they go like, hey, we'll just fix that later. And so that's what I would do. I'd clean up stuff. And it was actually pretty fun. But, with photos, it's tough because you can pick out all those imperfections really easy. And these companies want to sell things and make money.
Right.
As a society, we need to reward companies and buy those products and support them if they are not doing any retouching or not doing, just like skinny models, like that classic thing, because we as a society can control what they do. If we're like, hey, like Kendrick Lamar.
Your dollar is your vote.
Yeah. Like he said, I want to see ass with stretch marks or whatever. Like that was a kind of a cool thing because he's just like,
show me something natural, like ass with some stretch marks.
Yeah. And I think as a society, we can change that culture, but they're not just going to do it one day and then we're like, we don't like it. Like we have to show that we want that. But it's really tough because these companies, they want to make money.
Well, yeah, your dollar's your vote, truthfully.
Yeah.
So another thing, size inclusive jewelry.
Oh, really?
Yes. Okay. So I didn't. This is perception is everything.
Right.
Because you don't understand that this is an issue. Like I just learned recently a lot about inclusivity and Pride Month. It's not about who's with me at this table that I'm sitting at. It's who should be here with us. Who could we have invited, right? Who needs to be here with us at this table?
Right.
And I think that that's so powerful. Size inclusive jewelry. If you wanted to buy a necklace and you were quote unquote plus size, which I don't love that term anyways, but you have to pay to buy a necklace extender. So if I want a regular necklace, if you wanted to wear a necklace or you wanted to wear any of the necklaces that I have, if it's not long enough to hang as a pendant or it chokes you, you're paying. Some companies will charge you up to $25 for a chain.
Oh, weird.
This big that's literally hooking in one. It would be like a seat belt extender at like Disneyland.
Yeah, I obviously have a big neck. We got rings and they're big rings and stuff, but like I've never really done that with a necklace.
I had never thought about it.
Yeah.
And there are companies out there that'll include it, no charge.
Right.
Yeah, and that's lovely. That's things that we want. Why are you paying $25 more to wear the same necklace as me, but you just want it to fit the same?
I am also sick of like companies not making like 2X, 3X, 4X because like if you're a 3X, what the fuck am I supposed to buy? You know what I mean? Just some online shit. Like the fact that places don't offer a 3 or 4 or 5X, like it's
tangible
insane.
Products for you to feel, try on. So that way I don't just say, hey, give me all of your money. I'll order you and ship you some shit.
I went to Big and Tall store and I can't remember the name, but it's right by my work. And like, it was really cool to see like fatter people, larger people in their ads, in their like, all their marketing and everything was just like larger people. Like it was really refreshing. And then also being able to find clothes that fit because like when I was trying to find a shirt for my wedding, it's like impossible.
Yeah,
like,
we
you're
went
getting
to
scraps. I'm like, I guess I'll wear this weird shirt
with some weird print that's in a rummage bin in the corner.
And like, there's a market for people that want those shirts. And like, it's just kind of weird that, skinny people get all the shit, but if you're large, you don't get anything. And it's just
it's the same thing with like we talked about, a couple episodes ago, the Pride episode, and visibility.
Yep.
And how important visibility is to be able to see yourself. And I do want to commend you because I had quite a few people in my daily life that really loved your Pride episode and really and I say you because the podcast is all about you.
It is all about me. I'm a Leo.
I'm fucking over this shit. But no, seriously, I had a lot of friends and a lot of coworkers come up to me and say that they learned about Stonewall and that they got curious and they were able to look up some details and do some exploring, and like that warms my heart because that's truly what this is about. Is we do want to talk about exes and dating history, but when we set out to do this, I just wanted at least one fucking person to take some cool shit away. Or
Yeah.
one person to have a spark or a thought or, ooh, how can that help
Right.
me? How can I, take this more than just like, talking shit.
Well, and I think when we started talking about it, my envision was just like us going to be in your living room on your couch.
Right.
Just like hobbled over some like
Right.
mics and stuff. And we're just talking about just stories. And I think it's kind of just grown in this really cool platform to be able to talk about stuff. Like I didn't think I'd be talking about pride on a podcast and that people would actually give a shit.
Right.
It's really cool.
That people will listen, like, to have people come up to me and say, hey, I know now that June is Pride Month because of Stonewall.
Yeah. Well, and because of that, then that just creates just a better atmosphere. People are more aware. People can speak up and then share that info with other people. And
Visibility is so important.
It's really cute. And, it's everyone kind of thinks that, oh yeah, we have Pride Month. Everything's cool now. And like, it's a constant battle. Women's rights, gay rights, trans rights, like everybody has to justify their existence. It's the same with like the Black Lives Matter or trans. It's like everybody has to go like, hi, I'm a person. And then the regular establishment's like, we'll see.
Right.
We'll decide.
Right.
And then it's almost like you get little handouts. Okay, we'll give you the gay marriage.
We'll give you a month. We'll give you a month where we celebrate you and recognize you and want to make donations.
Right. And everybody should just have that equal platform, that equal like visibility. And
Absolutely.
we shouldn't have to have a Pride Month.
Right.
We have a Pride Month because people have been shitting all over us all the time. We have a Black History Month because people literally shit on Black people and they're like, hi, we're people.
Right.
Can
can we just have a little bit of time where you actually teach Black history?
Right. And it's just.
What a novel thought.
White people, I don't want to lump everybody in, but like everything is tailored to that. Everything in school. There was that thing with, I saw on TikTok or something about the pregnant Black woman with a Black baby. And they're like, I've never seen this in a textbook before. And I was like, whoa, I haven't either.
So what Ryan's referring to is their diagrams with Black babies in textbooks that do not have a white skin tone.
Right.
And that people had literally never before seen that.
Yeah.
Also, can we get some snaps? Are we allowed to do snaps on the podcast?
Yeah.
Band-Aids.
Oh, yes.
Band-Aids.
Our mom was always very vocal about that. And she was just like, why don't they have Band-Aids that match the skin tone? And this was like 30 years ago. I was
would have been in the 90s.
Right, that's
between
crazy.
the 90s, yeah.
And then all of a sudden now, you go to Target and you get all the different shades, which is great. But like, really, bitch, me looking at my watch
in
right
their
now?
40s and 50s, and they're just now having a Band-Aid where they look down at their hand and they don't see a whitewashed, pink, fleshy tone. Yeah. Because that's the one that matters.
Yeah.
Or also, okay, one more snap. Crayola. Crayola makes skin tone crayons for everyone now. So you can buy boxes that have packs that you can add to your crayons. So you don't just have to go out and buy a whole new pack of 115 crayons. You can just buy the extra special ones. So again, visibility.
Yep.
Now you have kids that are able to color a color that looks like them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird that like now that's a thing. Like it's just been kind of pushed under the rug for so long. But then again, I think people have to, not that it needs to be on the consumers, but consumers need to speak with their money and they need to say, hey, we need these things. And companies also need to do that, but companies kind of don't give a fuck.
Right.
I mean, like they would literally work us to death if we didn't have laws and overtime laws and unions. I mean, like, and companies want to be like, oh, we care. And then but like companies kind of don't care. They want to make money. And some companies do care about their employees, but like, do you think that they would have children working right now if we didn't have laws against it? Probably.
There would be, there would be children out there. That's like,
hey, can we push this to 16? Or if at 13, like, why don't we let, and so like we had these laws in place because they were just, people were.
Well, someone mentioned the other day, Undercover Boss. Remember that?
I fucking hate this show so much. Please.
Well,
please
no, it was just good perspective because, you have these higher up people that get to take a day in the life of like I've only ever seen a couple episodes. The one episode I remember watching way back in the day was the CEO had to ride in this garbage truck with this girl, and they're supposed to be like nobody. The owner, so the premise is, undercover boss. You get the CEO of a company that comes in as a brand new person or comes in as a lower entry person, lower level, and basically has to get trained to do something that they're asking of their employees.
Right.
And I'll never forget, the CEO had to stand there and listen to this woman talk about how she doesn't have enough time to pull over to a bathroom. So she's got a coffee can, and they keep a coffee can on every truck. So that way she can pull over in certain spots, and she's hidden enough to where she could pee on the side of the road in a coffee can. So that way she could make her route times that Home Slice was the one scheduling for her.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. Wait, and then...
So basically he has to work X amount of, I don't know if it's one day or a couple days, but then it gives him perspective. And then he comes out and he's like, surprise, I'm the CEO.
I fucking hate this show so much. I like the concept of it, but could you imagine if they came in, because they basically come in and they tell the crew that they're doing a show on like new employees.
Right.
And that's how, because like, okay, if you're working at fucking Taco Bell and they bring in a camera crew and you're sitting there like, bitch, you don't got to put the beans on there. Oh, you don't got to do this shit. You don't got to, like, you're a fucking idiot. Like, if you're going to lie and be like, oh, no, we don't do the trash that way. We do it this way. In front of a camera crew, you are a moron. First point. Second, could you imagine? Okay, so at the end of the episode, they're like, hey, Sandra, sorry we made you piss in a can and throw it out the window, but we're going to pay for your son's college. And then everyone's like, oh, the feels. Could you imagine if some dumb bitch at your work who kind of did enough work got her kids' tuition paid for, rewarded, and you've been busting your ass at this company, and like you got jack shit.
And they just pick her for views.
And they pick like 3 people who have sob stories.
I didn't think that this was going to get turned around negatively on me, but you do have a point, sir.
No, like I would be livid if you're busting your ass and doing a really good job, and then they don't reward anybody else, and they just reward these like sob stories. Granted, most people have really, oh, my dad has cancer or whatever. But like, that's wild. I would be so mad. And then sometimes they'll be like, oh, we're going to give our employees blah, blah, blah. But like, they only help out like a few people. And it's always like, oh, this show's great because Pizza Hut gave their employees a bunch,
Yeah, order Pizza Hut.
Sometimes they fire people. And then sometimes they're like, hey, I'm the CEO. Like, you're fucking fired. Get out of here. Which is weird.
That's crazy.
But I just find it. Apparently, when you're on like Real World or these like reality shows, they say you forget the cameras are there, which I don't understand, but also I kind of understand when they're there every day.
I think the difference is on like Big Brother and things like that, there's no camera you're physically seeing.
They say that they even have people like walking around like RuPaul's Drag Race. Like there's people with cameras. There's a whole crew of people. Like they'd be like over there and we're just chatting. But they say that you just forget.
Do you think that's true?
That's what people say. And I think it's just like
sensory. It just would be like
we're sitting here talking and we're doing this for an hour. But like if the camera was rolling all day, eventually we'd kind of forget about it.
That's true.
And that's why you get people to say dumb shit.
It was the editing.
Yeah.
The editing.
But yeah, I think it's weird that you would be on this TV show and then like there's a camera crew and you're like, yeah, don't do it like this.
Do it like this.
Yeah, I don't like that show.
I mean, I don't want to like broach this subject, but like I'm not the best with any of the... Okay, well, I come from a place of having relationship trauma.
Yeah.
Hence...
the podcast.
This podcast. I just... people are going to... I don't know if I want to say this. People are going to burn us down. I'm not the biggest fan of like 90 Day Fiancé or like any of like the relationship-y... And you've had friends personally recommend it to us that have told us it's such a.
I have people that watch The Circle. I think my other friend was telling me there's one of like people with autism, like
on the spectrum. Love on the Spectrum. I hear that one's great.
And I like even like The Bachelor and Bachelorette.
Yeah.
Like, I know that people can find love and you can just, you kind of match up with people and you get a spark or whatever. But like these people are making a TV show.
Right. Correct.
So I had a friend, and again, this is my friend telling me, he went to audition for American Idol and he was an amazing singer. And his story to me was that he went and auditioned like every year and he was going to age out. So it was last year and they were like, I'm sorry, you're too good. And he's like, oh, but like, and they're
Isn't
like,
that what this is about?
yeah. And they basically, he said that they stood up and they said, we are trying to make a TV show. So we're going to pick who we're going to pick. We're here to make a show.
Mm-hmm.
So like, why do they let all these dumb bitches go through that can't fucking sing? And we're sitting here laughing. That's like my favorite part of the whole American Idol is when they push through, there's some dumb bitch and she sings out of tune.
We are so opposite. I was going to say that's why American Idol lost me.
That was
American
what
Idol lost me because you would spend 10 to 12 minutes learning about a person and their grandma and their, sang the Star Spangled Banner at the local basketball place. I knew, and then they just are, it's the fucking worst.
So so when you go to American Idol, oh wait, for my friend didn't get on the show because they said he was too good.
Right.
Which is kind of weird. And like, but they're trying to make a show.
Right.
So you have to meet with several different producers and people involved in the show before you can get in front of Simon and all these people. But then sometimes they'll just push you right through to them. And other people, they'll say like, no, and they filter through. So they are very meticulous about who they let through. But we're also sitting there. And the things we love is when these people are like, singing. And we're like, ha, 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 you dumb bitch. You can't sing. But like in reality, like we shouldn't be making fun of these people. They're out there thinking that they do well. You know what I mean? And then like we get those one really good gems of them like singing great, like the Susan Boyle or whatever. You know, she's great. But we like love to shit on people when they suck and they can't sing.
Well, that's why American Idol lost me. I remember I just want to see the goodness.
Yeah.
I just believe in the goodness of people and I just want people to live their best dreams. And that's why, like I said, the Olympics.
Right.
Ooh, I love the Olympics. Yeah. Doesn't matter what it is, if it's diving or fencing it literally doesn't matter what it is.
Right.
I am fucking here for it.
I like the Olympics, but they kind of lost me recently. I think same with American Idol. Like I only watched a little bit of the episodes because I just think it's dumb. I mean, it's very manufactured. People love it, but it is very manufactured. Like, if you go on that show and they're like, so how's your parents? They're like, oh, great. I get along with them great. And they're like, oh, okay. Any dead or dying relatives? No, everyone's really healthy. They're like, okay. Any disabilities? Have you struggled with it? No, everything's great. And they're like, okay, we don't want you in this fucking show because they need those drama episodes where you're like reuniting. Like it's all very crafted and manufactured, which, you know, again, they've been on TV for like 20 fucking years. So they obviously know what they're doing. But you have to fit that, like, you have to be slightly shitty, but kind of good.
Enough
like,
room for improvement.
Enough to have an arc throughout the whole season. So at the very last couple episodes, they're like, oh, bitch, oh my God, you've grown so much. Same with Drag Race. I mean, when you have a bitch on there that is hella polished and just everything is great, what growth are you showing in the show? They're not going to let you on there if you're fucking amazing.
It's true.
So they want like one of the queens, like Adore, where she was kind of shit in the bed the first couple episodes, but then turns it out and is probably one of my favorite queens. And that's what we're like, oh my God, it's so great. But like, that's why.
Because you want someone to root for.
Somebody who is kind of not great or like decent. Adore was decent, but she has such a great arc. It's so, so beautiful. And then I'm just like rooting for her. That's one of the things I like about the All-Stars, All Winners, is because we're bringing back all these like really great polished queens already. And like,
we need that vulnerability.
That's the thing on Drag Race is like, you have to be vulnerable. You have to, like, people want that. People want to fall in love with you because it doesn't matter if you win. I mean, $100,000 isn't that crazy. After they take taxes out, it's really not that much money.
Bianca Del Rio said like you get like $42,000.
Yeah. And then you're paying for your rent, you're paying off credit cards, and then all those queens just take that money and put it back into their drag. So you're buying some outfits and you got maybe a fun trip planned or something, but like, it's not like you're like rolling around in dough. Although this year, spoiler, you get $200,000. for the all winners.
Yeah, they'd have to sweeten it up a little bit. Still couldn't get Bianca Del Rio in.
Yeah.
Still couldn't.
Well, here's the
sweet talk
thing.
her.
I think that there's plenty of time for another season.
Yeah, of course.
So they pick a really good group of girls. I think it's just kind of also like a trial to see like if it's even going to work. Because I mean, they're all so good. And if you put too many good people in there, it's like, well, how do you get all the FaceTime? But again, I'm not saying any of the queens are bad. But like Bob the drag queen, I know there was a lot of like, hey, how come I didn't get on? And like Bob is fucking amazing.
Right.
It's like, I wish she was on, but I'm glad because then you're getting to see a lot more of these queens.
Right.
And then next time they do an all winners,
Right.
let's bring Bob in.
Correct.
Let's bring Bianca in.
Correct.
Let's bring Sharon Needles in if they want to, work with these queens and stuff. So I think like it sucks when you miss it and you're like, dang, I wasn't called, but like, I'm pretty sure they're going to do this again.
Oh, yeah. They're on what?
'cause
Season like 95 Drag Race?
The all winner season is so good. Like it's just really, really cool. And I'm just really excited.
Well, if you know me and my TV watching history, I'm going to need them to get to the second season filming and then I'll go back and watch the first season. I can't tell you how many people have told me literally to my face that they think I'm a fucking psychopath.
Uh-huh. You are. I don't know anybody that I can't get back into it.
Well, okay, so someone told me I needed to explain my thinking and my reasoning, okay? Because Game of Thrones, for example, we're going to spoiler this a little bit, all right?
No.
Yeah, we're going to spoiler the first couple
okay.
episodes because the bitch has not fucking seen it. So I'm going to spoiler.
You've also
first-
had a minute.
Yes.
So
Yes.
So skip through.
We're on Apple Podcasts, so press that 30, like, knowing us probably like 6 or 7 times because we like to talk about stuff. But Game of Thrones, for example, if I were to have jumped in second season, maybe hold on. You pick a choice episode, right? You get me in. I'm kind of curious. I'm like, what's happening? Whoa, this little fight scene looks interesting. I'm interested in this character relationship. Bitch, you want me to start the first episode where the brother fucks the sister? And that's like the first 3 episodes?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Okay.
Check out.
Okay. So
No, you gotta let me have this one because this is how my brain works. I would rather jump in and know what I'm getting myself into than potentially wasting all of my fucking time watching something where it's just this cascade of incest. Not here for it, right?
I mean, that's the whole fucking show.
When I explained it to someone with that regard, they gave me a pass.
I understand why. I mean, I would think we were talking about different levels of anxiety. My anxiety is I don't want to know a goddamn thing about the show because, like I said, my brain will figure it out and then I ruin that surprise moment. It's like somebody explaining the magic trick.
I want to know.
But
I want to know who dies.
You like it because it doesn't bother you and you'd rather know a show is good so you can enjoy it.
I would rather know that a main character is going to die so I don't develop a relationship with them mentally.
Right.
So that way when they go swift and they go smooth. Sorry.
Man, I don't want to know. I want to be, because like that moment to me is so special because
the surprise and delight.
The surprise is just like, I want it. I want to go like, oh my God, like what the fuck? Like I want that so bad because I don't want it to get ruined at all.
That's true.
And so even if like someone's like, oh, haha, they die at the end. Just kidding. So I'm like, so he doesn't die. You just told me he didn't die. And then I had to think about your fucking ass the whole time because you told me like,
yes,
I was going to go see, I went to see Spider-Man 2 with Andrew Garfield. And right before I was like texting my dad and he's like, oh, I hated it. And I'm like, bitch, I'm in the previews right now.
Right.
And then the whole movie, I'm thinking about why my dad didn't like this movie. The whole movie.
That's selfish.
Because
That's
I'm like,
very
oh, damn, what did he not like? I'm like, this is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. And then I'm constantly thinking about like why people didn't like it. And it ruins it for me. And I just want to go in fresh so I can make up my own mind. I don't know. It's part of how my brain works. I don't like it. I wish I could just ignore it, but I don't like it. Also, Game of Thrones sucks. Game of Thrones sucks. Yeah. No, it was so good. And then this is common knowledge. Everyone's seen it. But yeah, their last season of Game of Thrones was not great. It was the best show on fucking TV. I was a diehard Game of Thrones fan. And their last season, man, these directors, I think they were trying to get on to another project. So they were like trying to like finish it up, but you can clearly tell like something's going on. Cause like they done fucked up that last season. It was so bad.
Sorry.
It was good, but like, here's the thing. If you're going to bring me along for 7 years and do all these characters, like you better have a good payoff.
Right.
You better tie up all these fucking ends.
Correct.
You better not give me some bullshit, like stupid ass thing.
And
like,
that's what they did.
and they kind of just shit all over everybody. And then because they wanted to go make another series.
I mean, that's nothing's worse than when at least you got somewhat of an ending. Like I remember there's several.
So bad. I would rather not have had an ending. I would have rather them just everybody on the show.
You
died.
say that, but then certain shows get canceled and you invest all this time in it and then there's nothing. And you're like, wait, I just watched 2 seasons and there's nothing?
Yeah. They canceled Raised by Wolves, the show I was talking about, like our first and second episode. It's so good. Oh my God. HBO, you're jerks. The show is so good. From what I remember, the guys that did Game of Thrones, their next project was going to be called, I think it was going to be called Confederate. And it was going to be if the South had won the war. And that didn't age well. And that didn't even age well by the time they announced it because nobody fucking wanted that shit. And they're like, we're going to end Game of Thrones and go work on this other weird series. And it never happened because, like, why the fuck would you do that? It's kind of the same idea like The Man in the High Castle, which is a Philip K. Dick. And it's basically if Germany and Japan won World War II. It's really good, actually. But TV show, I'm not sure. I only watched the first season. But it's a really cool book. Basically, if, you know, America didn't win World War II, what would the world look like? So, but I think they were trying to do that with the South, and it's kind of like, we don't need that shit. And then they got canceled. They were supposed to do a Star Wars movie or Star Wars series that got canceled. So, I mean, they kind of rushed through the last season of Game of Thrones for nothing.
Could have got that good karma, and look what you did.
Man.
Look what you did.
Yeah, I can't believe how like diehard everybody was about Game of Thrones, and then the last season it was like
It's almost like people are embarrassed to tell you. It's almost like people are embarrassed to talk about it because it's not great.
yeah. People bring it up, and I'm like, man, how do you shit on an entire fan base just like that?
And that's Entertainment Corner with Ryan and Lex.
Yep, this is your daily food and TV. So we didn't talk about it last week.
Correct.
But the week before, we had a new potential suitor.
Yes.
Any updates?
Yes.
It's been a while, so
yes.
we need to get caught up to what's happening in real life.
We filmed a couple episodes since our first date, and I mean everything's been really great. I think the biggest thing is there's no anxiety.
Yeah.
Which is really lovely. I really appreciate that he can tell me how he feels. And it kind of puts me a little bit at ease because I'm not constantly playing chess in my brain. And I'm not even playing chess in my brain with him. Right. I'm playing chess in my brain against myself.
Yeah.
Which is fucked up.
That's basically every relationship.
Yes.
It's like, oh my God, is this happening? Is what my ex did to me going to happen again?
Right.
And I think it's a natural defense mechanism because I think your brain is trying to go like, ooh, stove, hot.
Yes.
My hand is burned.
Yes.
So your body's like, uh-oh. Don't touch the stove again. And you're like, but I need this pussy to get filled up. So I must touch that stove.
Yeah. So no, sometimes
it's burned, but the mac and cheese was good that I just had.
Yes.
So, but yeah, you had gone on one date.
We went on a cute little date to a whiskey bar. And then after that date, I called him immediately. We talked forever. And then the next day I was really excited to see him again. We hung out that next day and a bitch is shocked. Let's fucking start there. I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Because I really enjoy his company.
Yeah.
Which might seem like we're in an alternative universe because I most definitely was running my mouth and I was like, I don't want to share my bed with nobody and I like being by myself and my energy's the best. And
well, I think that's what's nice about when you get into a relationship is I think they're the ones that can get you to kind of step out of your comfort zone. I think, you know, we're humans and we've been living in caves forever and we're like, you know, everything has got to be a small group and we have habits and, you know, all these things. And like, I think you get somebody to come along that is cute and that challenges you. And that's, I think, when a lot of growth happens because you're like, oh shit, like I could do this.
Yes.
You know,
The one thing I said about dating apps for all of my friends that are out there, and when I get, someone who listens to the podcast and they tell me they're on an app, I always ask them the same question. Like, are you ready and available to date?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
are you ready and willing to accept new opportunities that are going to come your way? Because I'm sorry, if you're out there and you're just literally wasting people's time because
Right.
you don't want to go on dates and you just need someone to talk to, like, you're literally just making people's job harder. You're literally making it harder. So then that way, like, if I'm ready and willing and available to go on dates, but a bunch of girls who have talked to maybe this suitor before me, they're not going to maybe think I'm serious.
Yeah, but I always kind of hate that though when people are like I had a dude and he was very nice, but he was like, I'm moving to Portland and it's my plan to move to Portland, and it was just like really strong, and I was just like, damn, bitch, I kind of know you, but like,
Right.
we barely talked, and you're like, I want to move to Portland, and I'm like, okay. Like,
Oh, you mean they were going to move to Portland to date you?
No, I think they were just saying like, hey, I might move to Portland, and then I'd go, oh wow, this is worth it. But like sometimes I don't know.
yeah.
I have always hated when people say like dating, like, oh, we should date. Like I immediately get butterflies
Cold
in my
sweat.
stomach and like get really anxiety, and that comes from me not being on the same level as somebody. So if I don't like somebody as much as they like me, and then we're dating to me means we're like holding hands, walking around.
Correct.
Some people, dating means I'm just out, just going on dates, exploring, seeing if it's worth the shit. Dating for me means like, oh, we're a thing. And so everybody's got different kind of meanings of what dating is.
Dating, yes. Whether you're dating or you're in a relationship, or what's the other one? Are you... because if you were like, oh, we're dating, or oh, he's my boyfriend, right? It's a different scale of
dating. Always gives me anxiety.
Yes. That's so much of what was so beautiful about going on this second date. So we went on the first date, we made out, it was great. Everything was great.
Right.
Really excited to just get to know him, hang out more. So the second date, fun, flirty. We're texting all day. Can't wait to see him. And he kind of let me know that the intention of going on this date was to talk and hang out, but we weren't going to sleep together.
We're not going to sleep. We're not. Okay. Bold. I like that.
But he literally, and this is what's so important, and I wanted to share this because he told me this, and he was like, hey, and I kind of joked, and I was like, ooh, one, bitch, you know who you're talking to? You know who you're talking to? All of this. So at first it was almost a bit of like reverse psychology.
Right.
So I've dated really shitty guys who would maybe say that. So you'd be like, oh, if you don't want to sleep with me, well, I'm just going to throw myself at you, try and resist this. Joke's on who? Joke's on you now.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and he goes, no. And he's like, I'm not about that. And he goes, but I want to fall in love with your mind and your heart before your body. He's like, your body, he's like, we're not going to have any problems there.
Right. Which
was like refreshing. And I've always had friends tell me like, oh, you'll meet someone who doesn't want to sleep with you, right? And I'm like, right? But that's how my life has been, right? And I think that that's something I've struggled with is, just being pretty, right? Or if you're just a body or whatever. And it's just like, it's hard because you have guys that sleep with you and then that's it. You're a notch on the bedpost.
My personality is up here.
Yeah, look up here.
But that's fair. I mean, I'm the opposite because I'm like, bitch, we better fucking sleep together.
Opposite. Yeah. No, bitch, I'm the opposite. I would rather sleep with you on the first date so I know kind of a scale. Yeah. I have, again, a very high sex drive, so that's very important to me to know that we're compatible or to know that there is growth. Yeah. No pun intended in that area, right? We want to make sure that you got to be compatible because it's really important.
Man, I have been with, there's like several people that have been like, oh man, we're going to fuck and I'm going to fuck you and blah, 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 and all this stuff. And that's all we talk about. Mm-hmm. And then like we hung out and then we're like in bed, like we're like watching TV or something. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, doing the things. And then they're like, oh no, I don't want to. And I'm like,
don't talk a big game if you can't lead up to it.
What the fuck have you been talking about this whole time, bitch?
Oh, bitch, we'll get there.
And then all of a sudden you don't want to do anything. Bitch, I came and picked you up and brought you back to my fucking house. For what? We didn't need to come here. We could have played video games.
Right.
at goddamn ground
Coulda
control
took a walk.
downtown.
We could have took a walk around
I'm
your
under the
neighborhood.
impression that you want to fuck, and
Right.
you've been talking nothing about fucking.
Yep,
for
you've been sending
months.
me
Dick,
purple
dongs,
emojis.
whatever.
You've been sending me purple emojis.
Yeah, and then now you just want to talk, and that's cool. But like, we didn't need to like go through all this
Right.
shit and act like we are gonna go to my place and fuck, and then you don't want to or whatever.
Right.
Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, and so it was nice because this date we went to a cute little Italian restaurant. The food was amazing, but the company was better.
Yeah.
And it was so cute because it didn't matter what the fuck you put in front of me. We could have sat in the establishment at Subway, bitch, and I would have had that fucking turkey sandwich, and we would have talked, and I would have learned all about his family and all about that. No, but it was true. It's very refreshing. So we went on this date. It was super cute. He made a reservation.
What? So what? Like, where'd you go? Well, you don't have to say the.
We went we went to a cute little pasta place on Hawthorne.
Okay.
He picked. It was a really cute mom and pop place. Really
Nice.
quiet. My big thing is if I'm on a date with you, I want to be able to listen to you, and I want to be able to feel like we're in this energy. And we walk in. The host, we check in, and the host goes, "Hey, you two, give me just a second. There's a really cute, cozy spot I want to clear off for you." And he put us right by the window. And so we sat right by the window and we played little feetsy feet under the table. It was really cute. And we held hands over the table, and our server was lovely. And I let him pick. I said, pick what you want. And I just ate whatever the waitress set down in front of me. And it didn't even matter what the food was. The food was fantastic. The dessert was fantastic. It was just about that moment. And for me, that's a huge, huge thing for me. One, because I get food anxiety.
Yeah.
Multiple eating disorders to where it's kind of challenging to feel almost like I have to eat in order to prove to you that this date matters, or that you're spending money and I have to eat because now you're spending money on a $45 pasta plate. And it's just like, ugh, it's all this anxiety. But with him, it was just super easy. And so I really just wanted to, one of the girls I work with said, your body knows how you feel before your mind does.
Ooh.
And so but my body is telling me that he's making me feel calm and relaxed and comfortable.
Right.
And so we had such a lovely time.
Nice.
And then we get back to my house, and he's like, you want to go inside? And I was like, oh, you want to? Oh, bitch, I thought you said we wasn't gonna, but look who's caving. And that wasn't the case. He said, let's go upstairs. He's like, yeah, we might make out, but he's like, my goal is not to sleep with you. I just want to get to know you.
Right.
And I was just like, okay.
But I appreciate that though. I
1,000%.
Because nowadays the first date's great, the phone's great, phone talking's great, the hangout, the chemistry is there. You would assume second date we get some penis in the vagina.
Correct.
We get a blowjob.
Right. If we're not sleeping together on the first date, we're definitely sleeping together on the second date. Probably sleeping together as a little hors d'oeuvre.
Yeah.
For the second date.
A hors d'oeuvre.
Bitch, that's our next shirt. We're going to pause right now so we can get it up on, what's the t-shirt link?
Threadless.
Yes, we're going to pause right now so we can put it up on Threadless, all right?
That's funny. But I appreciate that because I think if you know that everything's going really well and you can tell okay, this is a person that I'm going to want to hang out with a lot more. It's nice to kind of just hold off and just see
well,
you know what I mean?
Don't get too far ahead of yourself. I haven't finished the story. In pure Lex fashion, she gets what she wants.
So you went upstairs.
So we went upstairs and we were watching
Obviously,
TV.
you're playing the new Mario Kart levels. You watched the Game of Thrones.
So we go upstairs and we're hanging out and we're watching TV and we're making out. But it was, let me tell you, as a girl who loves to have sex, it was so nice just to make out with someone.
Yeah.
When was the last time you ever just made out with someone without getting fucked? Passionate, high school making out. Where you weren't oh, I'm making out in order to prove something to you or whatever. We made out for probably 45 minutes on my couch.
Nice.
But just cute. And as a girl, I love making out. I love kissing. I love touching. I love all the hands smushing and face and hair. I love all that. I'm about the performance.
Yeah. Some people are not good kissers.
No, not at all.
Always weird.
Yeah.
You
can teach to a certain extent, but you can't fix it.
I don't want to shit on anybody, but please don't dart your tongue out into my mouth like you're a snake, where you where it's just, you know,
Yeah,
like
you
you like
gotta,
you don't
like-
have eyes and you're trying
Here's
to
the
like
thing.
get a
Tongue
imprint
kissing. Tongue kissing is like you gotta like knock on the door to see if anyone's awake. You just gotta maybe just a little bit.
Yeah, I've had
Maybe just a
I've
little
had
bit.
a lot of weird, and then also like when people like sometimes people like want to talk and make out, and it's kind of like can we just do. Well, no, like
chatty.
I had somebody that was just like kept asking me if I like liked it.
Oh,
And
no.
I'm like,
No.
I'm here still.
Yeah, I am
Don't-
still involved in this, which would imply that I like this.
I don't really know why I have to continue to give you verbal confirmation when
Some
I'm.
people, I again, that's me. Sorry.
Yeah.
My bad. Some people like it. Some people enjoy giving that praise,
Yeah.
which, you know. So we made out for a super long time. It was great. And oh man, I don't even like, how do I even? So
Allegedly.
no, not even allegedly, bitch. I'll own this shit. So then we were making out. Oh, and then that's what happened. So I was sitting on top of him and I had my legs wrapped around him and my legs went numb. We made out for so long. My legs were asleep. And so he was kind of laughing and I'm sitting on him and we're kissing or whatever. And hold on, I have to make sure I get this right.
That'd be great if your like legs had to get amputated because you like you were on them crisscross applesauce for.
And I just,
And then they were like, "Oh, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to take these legs off."
If he's paying for it, I'd be fine with that. From what we had been talking about, he seemed very much like soft and sweet and like sensual.
Right.
Sometimes a girl just want to get fucked.
Yeah, me too.
So, bitch. So we're on the couch. We've been making out for a really long time. My legs were asleep and I didn't really realize this. And I'm kind of like wiggling around and he's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I think my foot's asleep." And we go to like untangle and I'm like, "Oh yeah." And my foot was all tingly. And he's like, "Let's go lay down." And I laughed and I looked at him and I said, "You said we weren't fucking." And he's like, "We're not." He's like, "Let's just go lay down. I just want to snuggle with you. Like, let me just hold you and have it be cute." And everything had just been like really lovely, sweet, soft, cute, safe, comfortable, lovely the whole time.
Right.
So I was incredibly turned on. We had just made out for like 45 minutes. It was
Right.
really hot. But in my head, I was like, okay, I'm trusting what he's telling me. And I'm not going to lean into my trauma and assume that it's reverse psychology.
Right.
So we go lay on my bed and I literally like wedge myself in between his legs. He's laying face up. I lay on top of him and I like wrap my arms around him and I'm just laying on top of his chest, just snuggling. And he's like rubbing my back and just being nice and lovely. And we just laid
Right.
and talked for like 45 minutes.
Nice.
No more kissing. It was just like really lovely conversation where I just wanted to reaffirm all of the good feelings that he had me feeling because I think that's so important. Like we lost our mom to cancer. And one thing that I took away from that was I want people to know how special you make me feel immediately.
Right.
Like immediately.
Yeah.
Because if I died today on my way home from filming this podcast, God bless.
Right.
I would want everyone in my life to know how fucking lovely I think they are and how special and wonderful. And so I just was like, you make me feel so safe. I was like, I just am super into this. And I was able to basically give him what he wanted by way of, as he put it, not walking all over him because
Right.
he felt like, and it was really cool to have this conversation a couple days after the fact and just say, hey, like, I didn't want to sleep with you because I was absolutely terrified that you were going to sleep with me and I was going to fall in love with you and you were just going to be like, aha, deuces. I'm just going to go on some more dates. I'm just going to go on happy hour and hang out and like peace out. And the connection that I felt with him was really strong and felt really good. And I wanted to explore that more and just kind of let him know that like I didn't necessarily want to be on apps and swiping or whatever. And then we had sex for like 2 hours.
Same night? Yeah, bro.
Thanks, Bray. That was great.
Well, that's cute though. I mean, I don't know. I like that he's kind of like, hey, my intention isn't to butter you up.
Right.
So I can slide the dick in
Right.
and get you all like whatever juiced up.
Right.
It was like, I just want to go on this date
Right.
and do that. And
And
that's my main goal.
Let's explore this because I know that the sexual aspect is not going to be anything. But the
Right.
best part was, so we were kind of laying on him and things are, lovely and sweet. And I didn't feel like at any moment he lied to me, or at any moment did I feel like I was getting duped. And I was
Right,
like,
right, right.
I'm naked. You
Right.
tricked me. Blah.
Right.
Like it was never that. It was all really lovely. And I mean, the best part of the whole experience, let me say, and he's got to be fucking smiling if he watches this back, because I laid on him and we were kind of laughing, and I looked at him because everything had been soft and sweet and lovey, and like, I want to make love to you, kind of like before, clothes on.
Right.
Clothes on, nothing had even like, I think I still had a sweater on.
Yeah.
Like we were still fully clothed.
Yeah.
I think we still had socks on, if you want me to be honest. Everything with him was like lovely and sweet. And we just had this really lovely conversation just about feelings and, you know, interest and effort and dating. And, you know, that sounds great. But when it comes to like, you know, sex, and you want to have like, oh, I just want to be like slow and passionate. And I just was like, sometimes a girl just want to get fucked. So I genuinely asked him, and I was just like, I have a question. I was like, please don't think this is stupid. And I was like, can you fuck the shit out of me? What? It's a genuine question. That's a genuine question, because I have.
That's not what I thought you were going to say. Oh my God, that's so funny.
That's a genuine question.
I thought you were going to say something else.
Well, no, fired very shortly by, you know, that's question 1A. Question 1B was then, do you have a big dick? And he looked at me and said, you want to find out?
That's great.
What? Say less.
Yeah.
I mean, that was crazy for me. So then I kind of laughed, and I was like, you know, you said you didn't want to sleep with me. And he very nicely rolled me over, and he looked at me and he was like, I didn't want to have sex with you because I was scared that you were going to absolutely steamroll me. He's like, I wasn't worried about sleeping with you. He's like, I know sex with you. He's like, sex with you has to be amazing. He was like, I wanted to get to know where your head was at and your heart was at before I throw myself at you and have you literally chew me up and spit me to the curb.
There's also a vulnerability there too.
It's a little flattering,
Yeah.
I must say.
Well, it's true. I mean, I think, you know, prior trauma, prior relationships
Of course.
for him, you know, if you're like, you got a good dick and you can throw it down and you're also cute and charming and fun, you don't want to get invested, and then you lay some dick down and then you're like,
Correct.
oh shit, damn it.
Correct. This girl now has 6 other dates she's going on this week, and I don't get any of her time. And
Also, I think when you meet somebody, you have a really good connection, you're kind of like, okay, let me not do what I normally do. Let me slow it down a bit. Because I've always said this, you know, when we've talked about like relationships and stuff, I go, will this matter in 6 months if you're going to be with this person? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Is this fight, are you going to remember it 6 months from now, a year from now? Probably not. Is it worth bringing up? Probably not. And I think the same, you know, if this is going to be a dude you're going to spend the rest of your life with, hopefully, you know, who cares when you sleep together?
right, of course, absolutely.
That doesn't really matter.
Yeah. It's all a lever of
You
comfortability.
know, but also you don't want to hold out forever because then you seem weird. But like, I think it's good to go into the second date with like, hey, let's just.
I really just appreciated that he was able to give me a clear consensus on what he wanted and what his expectations were.
Well, communication is really important.
It's-
A lot of people don't communicate. They don't talk about it. They keep everything bottled in. I'm, a victim of this. I think a lot of it came from our dad my dad's nice and everything, but like, you didn't want to say anything wrong because then he would get really upset.
Correct.
And then it would be this huge blow up. And prior people that I've dated or hung out with, I've spoken up before. And then our friendship goes all crazy, not because of me, hopefully. But it always is like, oh man, I want to say this thing, but is our friendship going to be over? A relationship going to be over? And so one of the things that kind of Greg has taught me is like, hey, we do these little check-ins, you know, hey, is there anything I could change, anything? And then that's a lot. It was really helpful because it gives me an opportunity to go, well, you know, I need to bring something up. And I find that when you hold stuff in, you don't say things, it builds up. And then again, you have that dialogue in your head, starts to be a huge thing. And then when you don't communicate, then it gets built up and it's hella crazy.
Or you could be like me in past relationships where you leave a spoon in the sink that I just cleaned and it's fucking World War III. I'm about to get your ass.
Yeah.
You know, you got to pick and choose your battles. Ryan told me recently, Ryan told me recently, you got fucking 3 strikes before you bring something up to a motherfucker. That blasphemy.
Well,
I was so upset about
we were
something,
talking
and-
about,
So upset about something. And Ryan was like, well, maybe if it happens again, just kind of way. I was like, what happens again? Bitch, I already lit his ass up. What are you talking about happens again?
Well, yeah, basically I said, you should give it 2 or 3 times. And these
Grace.
aren't like catastrophic things.
Yes.
These are just little things. Because so it's our first time something happens.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. Just, maybe make a mental note. The second time I'm like, okay, dang, this might be something I need to bring up. Maybe it was a fluke or whatever.
Yes.
And then if it happens like for me, like a third time, then I'm like, all right, now I need to say something because it seems like there's a pattern or
Correct.
something. Because, again, you bring it up after the first time and then he's like, oh, sorry, So for me, I don't know if this might not work, but I like to kind of have several occurrences. Again, it's not catastrophic, but and then
Well, basically, this was my good check-in to realize I don't want to be Chandler from Friends. All right, just because we have one fight doesn't mean everything's swept into the garbage.
Well, it's really cute. Hopefully, things kind of progress in the right way.
Yeah, everything's
I'm very
feeling
happy that you have somebody that you're hanging out with. I think it's great.
It's been lovely to look forward to fun, cute things.
I really appreciate that with Greg when we started dating and hanging out. Like it was just super cute, and he'd always like take me to places and surprise me with things, and I like to do that for him. And it's just like really cool to have somebody that just like puts you as a priority. But you're not like, I want somebody to complete me or am I missing piece? And you shouldn't be like a broken thing.
Correct.
Where you need somebody to fill in. Like you both need to be like, building each other up and having somebody that thinks about you and wants nothing more than to make you happy. So yeah, hopefully.
And I think that's another thing too, is that what I learned from past relationships, especially the one that I moved to San Diego, was very codependent. It was very, why can't you make me happy?
Right.
Why am I not making you happy? Instead of, I am happy, therefore we're happy together. I can make my own happiness. I'm not dependent on you to make me happy. And I think that that's a good check-in that everyone needs to have in their relationship. Is this benefiting both of us?
Yep.
Is this healthy? Shout out to my Virgo twin at work, but she asks me all the time about what feels healthy and how does it feel to, work towards having a healthy relationship and not toxic, because that's all I know.
Right.
And I just think it's so important, like you said, to be able to have that communication and just to be able to have that check-in. But yeah, I'm just really excited. It's nice to have, something positive on the table and to be able to, get a cute good morning text, I think is really special.
Well, you've just had a lot of, we've talked on the phone so many times and I'm just like, damn, like hopefully, there's a dude out there who's, gonna make you really happy or gonna care about you. And like, all these other, so many people had to fuck up, even like, we didn't really get to talk about him today, but like the dude you saw before him, if that had gone any different, you would not be with this current dude.
Absolutely.
And so like, I had a dude I was hanging out with for many, many years before I met Greg. And he was just kind of a douchebag. And had that worked out, had anything else had happened, same with Greg, with his, like we both kind of ended up available at the same time.
Correct.
And we were both kind of over these other dudes' bullshit at the same time. And that is such a blessing.
Correct.
Because we wouldn't have that if these other things worked out. And I always say, like, nothing makes sense now. It'll make sense in 6 months. But we always like, why is this happening to me? I don't understand. And then you look back 6 months from now and you're like, ooh, I see. Same,
It's very profound.
Same from the, you were like, why is this guy shitting on me? We had several conversations. You're just sad because like dudes are just like ghosting you or being douchebags. And then now you're like, thank you.
Someone who values my time.
Thank you. Because now I really appreciate this new person I have in my life that cares about me. And, it's great. Well, thank you. Thank you again for sharing a story about you getting rammed.
Anytime.
Next week, I'll talk about
you getting rammed.
Me getting rammed. Yeah, I feel like I need to get into the vault and bring up some
I don't know if that's good for
crazy
us.
stories.
There are crazy
I
dating
have
stories.
so
We have so many. We just get down here in front of the lights.
I went on a road trip with my friend Brian. I don't know if I brought this up before, but we went down to California. So he was a visiting family member. And I think I had talked a majority of the trip down and back of like sexual escapades and things that I've done. I just kept remembering more and more stories. And I was just like, wow. It's like a 12-hour drive to San Francisco. And I just talked I was like, oh yeah, let me tell you about this story. Oh yeah, let me tell you about this story. So hopefully by the time we get to episode 100, I'll have cracked into like 0.5 of
Wonder how Brian felt on that road trip.
He liked it because they're all hilarious. Obviously, all my stories are fucking hilarious. So, well, yeah, thank you for again sharing a story of you getting rammed.
Appreciate
it.
Anytime.
Yeah. Hopefully you all learned stuff about photo retouching and fashion and eyelashes.
Oh, yes. Wash your extensions. Please, please wash your extensions.
Yep. And, if someone's on American Idol and they're trying their best, we should support them.
Give them some snaps. Give them some snaps.
Let's not focus on the bad singing.
Let's focus on the good singing.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. All right, guys.
All right. That's all.
Catch us next week. All right. Bye.
Bye. pdExes. That's right, bitch.
You off the mark.
I'm fucking married. But I still have stories, though.
Got stories for days.
Okay.
Oh, do you have to clap?
Oh, yes. Ooh.
That was a good one.